Hey there guys, welcome back to the Doug and Race Craft YouTube channel. On this episode, we take my Predator Supercharged Coyote swap Mustang II for its maiden voyage. Alrighty guys, we're beginning this video with the car nearly finished. So last time you guys saw this, I didn't have any of the heat exchanger stuff in yet, so that's where we're gonna start this video off just really fast. We got a lot to cover in this video, so we're just gonna get right to it. So for those of you that don't know, these blowers do have an intercooler on the inside of this lid right here. That's what these two fittings are for. There's a water to air intercooler on the inside of this lid. So usually they would have air bottle, air fill right here for the GT500s. And then they have a pump and a heat exchanger, as well as a reservoir for, the settling of the fluid and all that stuff. So really quick, what I got going on here, I made my own ice tank. So as you may be able to tell, it's just an old fuel cell, not an old. I ordered this new, it was like $100. Made my own mounting tabs and everything for it, and obviously put the bigger fittings and stuff like that on it. These are dash 12 3/4 inch heater hose. Obviously got the the good juice on the inside there. Some antifreeze up until the summertime comes when I know it's not going to freeze anymore. We'll put some water and some ice in there. Get those IAT temps down really low. Down below for a pump, I don't know if you can see it. It is a Davies Craig 9.5 gallon per minute pump. It is not a self-priming pump, so it does need to be below the level of the fluid inside the reservoir. So right now I just have it coming straight off the outlet at the bottom of the tank there. I don't know how they do it in the GT500s, but I know in the 0304 Cobras, for whatever reason, they have it going from the reservoir to the heat exchanger and then into the lid and then back to the tank. For a couple of reasons, it's not the best way to do it. If you're putting ice in here, you want the coldest part of the fluid to go from the ice tank immediately to the intercooler on the inside of the lid. There's no point to have it go from here to cooling through ambient air temperature and then into the lid. That just doesn't make any sense. You're effectively heating up the liquid before it gets to the intercooler. So I have mine going straight from the pump into the intercooler, out of the intercooler, into the heat exchanger, and then back to the tank. Pretty straightforward setup. As you can tell, still got to put the nose back on the car. I just wanted to show you guys what I had going on here. This is a Mishimoto heat exchanger. VMP has some really trick pieces. They're one of the only companies, I think the only company in fact, that has a triple pass heat exchanger, which means the coolant goes through the heat exchanger 3 times before it actually exits the heat exchanger. It's effectively seeing the cooling fins 3 times before it exits. This is a dual pass heat exchanger. The VMP ones are very nice. They're just too big for my setup. This Mishimoto one is their 1,000 horsepower rated one, and it is like the perfect size for my setup. If it was any bigger in any direction, it wouldn't fit. I have it mounted right to the radiator, reinforced the radiator mounts, so that they'll obviously be able to hold the extra weight of this here. Really solid deal. So like I said, it fits nearly perfect, the exact width of the radiator nearly. Really no room to spare in any direction. As you can see, she rubbed there a little bit when I was fitting it, no big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the nose back on it. We'll get it back down the ground and we'll take it for a spin. All right, so right now we're just going out running some errands because this is a street car. You drive down the street. So if I didn't say it before, VMP is tuning the car now, and they have done an absolutely amazing job. I couldn't be happier with it. It drives like stock, and it has all the beans. The hardest part about it so far is having the throttle body tuning down because they haven't tuned the Hellcat throttle body yet, but they've got it dialed in. I was kind of worried that this wouldn't be that fast on pump gas, but for being on pump gas, this thing's a fucking animal. My whole goal for this, since I started doing the Coyote swap with Mustang II, I wanted it to be faster than my Orange S550 was, and the fastest that car ever went was 1052 at 132. I haven't gotten to do any dig rips with this yet because I don't have it on a good tire yet. It's just on my 26-inch tall Mickey Thompson ET Street SS. So far, I've done a 60 to 130, and you can with 60 to 130 times converted to quarter-mile trap speed. And the fastest has been at 60 to 130 so far is a 6.1, which is trapping 138 miles an hour. Insane. So once it gets put on E85, it'll go up at least another 100 horse, and then at that point we can pull it down. Right now the Supercharger is making about 10 or 11 pounds of boost, which is a lot to put on 93. The awesome thing about this setup the way it is now is that this combo would essentially live forever. You know, I'm not going to say live forever because it all depends on how much abuse it takes, how hard you are on it. Back-to-back wide open throttle pulls and getting that heat exchanger really hot. Of course, you know the motor's not going to live that long. But if you're mindful, not making back-to-back hits, only beating on it so often, it'll live forever. So for those of you that don't know, I moved away. I moved to Milwaukee back in last November. So during the tuning process, obviously, like with this being remote tuning, they send you a file, you data log it, and send it back to them. So to help expedite the process, I had my brother and our buddy Brett do the data logging for me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this car is kind of a handful. It has manual steering, manual brakes, and it's kind of a handful. Like it spins pretty easily now, especially back when they were doing it, it wasn't very warm, so the pavement temp was kind of cold. And sometimes I wasn't ready for it. So here's a video of them logging it for me quick, down in Mexico, obviously. I will say, it definitely needs to get put in an 85 because this whole $20 a trip thing for 93 fucking sucks. For nearly 5 gallons, just paid over $20. Not great. Yeah, and you might be thinking to yourself, Sean, for how much you spent on this Coyote swap, you could have easily built a 347 or a 427, whatever, that made the same power. Which is true, yes, I could have, but it wouldn't be nearly as drivable as this is. Like right now, cruise ground, you'd have no idea that this could make 600, 700, 800 horsepower. It drives like a stock car. I'm at a stoplight, I can hear myself talk. Granted, when I take off, maybe a little bit of a different story. Yep. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. I told you we were going to run errands. I also got to take my lovely girlfriend Hannah for a ride. Here's the clips of that now. right, there you guys. That's gonna do it for this video. I do appreciate you guys coming back and watching all these. I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video out. Obviously, it went from being really cold weather to really warm weather. This video has been filmed over the span of a couple weeks. As always, huge thanks to VMP for providing the parts and the performance. They've really, you know, been the leaders in this rush to get all the Predator stuff going. So, as always, it is much appreciated. They did help me out a lot, and honestly, without them, this really wouldn't be possible. They make a lot of good swap parts, not only for Coyote swaps, but for, you know, Coyotes in general, for, you know, like factory style applications. So as always, huge thanks to them. Like I said, couldn't have done it without them. If you like the video, make sure you go ahead and like the video. Please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more of this content. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope to catch you in the next one. Y'all take care now.